Coming from the Truspace, we ain't entertaining neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace.
What's good, y'all? My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, welcome back to Truspace.
Yep. And let's take a look at this Venus and Libra transit and how this is going to hit all of us. So, yeah, Libra is leaving Virgo, moving into Libra shortly after the sun, following the sun off a couple degrees. How do you think this is going to hit everybody?
So right now, this is time to kind of have fun, especially since Venus is moving from the debilitation of Virgo, it was not that bad. It was kind of fun trying to love work and just to have fun with it while experiencing the opposition to Neptune, realizing what we need to do to achieve that the exaltation of Venus, which is be our dreams and illusion, what we truly enjoy and indulge in, and things of that nature. So Venus right now coming back to Libra, its ruling sign. This is us gonna communicate everything and start to build social relationship around the routines and patterns that we optimized in Virgo season, aka the harvest. But the harvest is based on Leo, and Leo was almost like the show, aka Jesus show against the crucifixion, which is all the square signs. The South with Scorpio, testing you against your vulnerabilities. We got the Uranus in the North Node, testing you against your spiritual path when it comes to the physical reality and what you need to do to get a unique original way. And then Saturn, how you should in Aquarius, how you should associate yourself within this realms of reality and things of that nature. So, and that basically with Leo season build it off what started from Aries to Cancer, which will be your personal signs. That's what the peace deal calls it, the power signs, which is makes sense because it deals with organs that deal with power energy, and it's the spring season, so they deal with the concept of springing things into existence. Just think about Aries, the pushing nervous system. You're pushing nervous system signals. The more you can visualize things, the more stronger you're gonna be. And just think about the fact fire signs, they like to visualize things, and that makes them not stay still and move around. And then we got Taurus, the ability to stay still. This is why people like to say Taurus are so cool and calm. This is why people like to suck Taurus energy. It's the hormones, and so they know how to make themselves feel good, and that's why people like them and things of that nature. And then we got Gemini, your ability to put different. Basically, Geminis, they like to think about ways of thinking, which is kind of funny, and that's how they can develop more ways about thinking. This is why it's the third house, dealing with early education. And then Cancer is just our ability to react in such a deep way. We could develop knowledge on what to do and what not to do next time we express how we feel. This is why Mars is debilitated. This is why Cancer could be way more aggressive than Aries sometimes and things of that nature, but that's what leaded to learning. Jupiter exalted there, and then obviously that's basically the personal science. So that's us building powers, and then Leo, us presenting our heart chakra, us doing the show. And then after that we go to Virgo, harvesting, optimizing, tweaking things, dieting down, figuring out what exercises we need to do. Then right now Libra, right now we're going into this is us communicating, bringing the right to relationships, figure out how can we connect everything that we did so far based on what relationships we're gonna enter to when it comes to this fall season.
For sure. And like you're so right with that pressure that Neptune was putting on in Virgo, with Venus and Virgo, even when the sun was here too, but with Venus and Virgo, Neptune was putting on that pressure where you were really trying to put together, make sense out of your relationships, out of your resources, out of all of that stuff. But then there's this whole influence that's really opposing you. Maybe it's a dream that you would have, that you want things to look like, but you can't make it make sense and stuff like that. So there's that real Brunswick. You're right. Like Venus is probably really waiting to get out of Virgo. You know what I mean? Really waiting to get into Libra. But it's not, that pressure is not over. Where right now there may be a relief as Venus is moving into Libra. Now it's getting more into its home aspect. It's more harmonious in terms of it's free to go out. Now it's actually the time to go out and compromise and make partnerships, and to enter new relationships, and to try and make old relationships work in new ways and stuff like that. But later on in Libra, it's going to make an inconjunction to that Neptune again, and the inconjunction is going to kind of be like a reminder, like an awkwardness. Whereas, oh yeah, now I remember I can't operate on this relationship level with these aspects from the old, or with these unrefined aspects. That's what I was doing in Virgo, while I'm really making sense out of things, where it wasn't as easy to establish relationships and really connect with people, even the people that you're already in a relationship to. There would be this discoherence. Maybe they're spiritually on a different path, not even on a different path, but they're fighting with different subconscious energies, so they're being pulled in different ways, and you're trying to make sense out of it, not realizing the behind the scenes things that are going on. So while you go into Libra season, it's kind of like a reminder of that behind the scenes energy that would get out there. So it's like really important for you to establish healthy aspects of establishing relationships, because Venus at home, I don't know if you ever met like that shorty, like Venus and Libra is like that cute shorty you see on the street. She's like, oh yeah, that shorty's so cute, you see her around all the time and shit like that. And then maybe eventually, I don't know, through friend circles or whatever it is, you get to shorty's house and she's kind of a mess. Like, she's not disgusting, but it's kind of messy, which doesn't really gel with the perfect appearance, or she doesn't wash dishes and stuff. It's like these aspects where once you get at home and you feel comfortable and things are working in your way, you may start neglecting certain aspects. Being a little bit too friendly. Being friendly is working. Oh, I became friends with this nigga. Oh, say word, he has a yacht or a cabin or whatever it is that we get to go and have a weekend or have fun or whatever like that is. And those opportunities may happen, but then something happens, or you get murdered at the cabin, or whatever it is. You want to really make sure that you are doing these things in a healthy way, because you can get so comfortable with that friendliness, that compromising. All right, in this relationship, I'm gonna compromise, just because that's what's gonna create the most balance in this situation. That's what's gonna make things appear to be fair.
This is why Saturn is exalted in Libra. It almost gives Libra this energy of they have to uphold while they indulge in relationship. This is why they look fake when they try to do more relationship based things or try hard. But it's that Saturn aspect pushing on them, but also it's on the negative cycle, make them over doubt themselves or the way they go about relating to people, because actually that's what they love and appreciate. But then that's the Venus versus Saturn battle they have to go through.
That's what leads to the indecision. Absolutely. Because if you think about it, with more balance, with more partnerships, you should come to decisions easier. But because of that balance that you're trying to maintain now this nigga wants this, and now you're trying to mix, and you can't necessarily mix all of the energies together. So now it leads to this indecision. Now what do I do? That's how you have the Libra playing both sides type shit.
And that's sometimes bad too, because Libras will put a lot of their own Mars is debilitated in the Libra archetype, so they put a lot of their own nervous system energy and aside for other people ways of expressing their own passions and desires and will and things of that nature. That's where Libra could be manipulative and things of that nature, but that's where Libra, they could weaken their own ability on taking actions and things of that nature, where they utilize people. But this is what it could play out as a form of disease, where they might overexert their kidneys, the adrenal gland through their kidneys, because they tend to overbalance things, and that creates more hormones release because they're ruled by Venus. And Venus, think about harmony, and the term hormones is the same concept. The more harmony you create, the more good hormones you can create within your body. So that's what Libra's trying to do with the relationships. So when these things get out of control, things get out of whack, hormones get out of whack too. And like they in conjunct Taurus, and if Taurus is ruled by Venus too, and it's our endocrine system is completely done, and things of that nature. At this point,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I get what you mean in terms of that's what they're trying to do, even taking things out. So it leads to a lot of the indecision. Interesting. But yeah, overall it's definitely a great time for bettering relationships, bettering an understanding of people. It's just like what you were saying, like you escape that negative expression of Libra when you understand what you're doing with it. In terms
that,
of, like, for
this is why the
for
Liberal
Libras
Party.
in general.
This is why the Liberal Party, they keep going, even though we know they're fake, but we know somewhere that concept is like it's good.
Absolutely. Socrates, well, Plato talks about. Well, Plato was writing about Socrates, but he was saying that Socrates was saying that he didn't like democracy because people would choose the candy salesman over the doctor, over the surgeon, because the surgeon was open about what he was gonna do. I'm gonna perform a procedure on you, and this shit's gonna hurt, but it's gonna get rid of the tumor or cyst or whatever the fuck it is that you have a problem with you. Candy salesman's like, what tumor? What cyst? Eat this candy and shit like that. So everybody's like, yeah, let's go for the candy and shit like that. So you get, and then that natural Libra aspect, that natural you wanting things to be positive, it comes from a good place. But if you're not actively directing that, it's gonna be acted out within you. Like people don't realize, like with just Libra energy in general, and your seventh house, like your seventh house often represents your shadow self, and a lot of people get partners that represent their shadow self. Look at your partner. If you're struggling with your partner, like they have a negative aspect that really doesn't gel with you, or that really confronts some part within you, look at your seventh house, bro. This is a situation your spirit set up to go and try and teach you a lesson by exposing the shadow aspect of you, of the energy that you may not be addressing. So, really, what I'm trying to say is, once you initiate the action, I think that's with all cardinal signs. When planets are moving into cardinal signs, initiating the action, or some with the power, either you're utilizing your power or somebody's power is being utilized against you. And then now your seventh house and your Libra aspects are, oh, this person's coming into my life and doing this, that, and then the third, and it shouldn't be like that. I'm making this contract with these people. Stop signing the esoteric contracts that other people drew up, and you don't know their fucking esoteric lawyer. It's a demon problem most of the time, But you draw up your own esoteric contracts. And this is the time to do it. Venus in Libra. You take the action to create the type of relationships that you want to have. Understand this mirror aspect. This is what Libras need to do. Okay, I reflect so much off of other people, this mirror aspect. I'm so social. How can I use this to better myself? Okay, let me go and reflect off of this person because he has this aspect that I want to incorporate to myself. So I'm going to go mirror that aspect. Knowing what it is, instead of just, everything being on willy-nilly, you start mirroring all the negative aspects of all of your friends without your awareness. So this is how you can really bring awareness to that point and really utilize that Venetian energy to its maximum, and really start creating healthy relationships by defining what type of relationships you want to have, so that you know what you're extending out. You write the contracts and allow the esoteric contracts and allow other people to sign it, join up with it.
Libra season is what's gonna take it from below the horizon to above the horizon, where you're gonna take all your talents and you're gonna take above the horizon and then present them, and then see how far you could get. Hopefully, get into Capricorn winter season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. And I think the transit's gonna end on the 22nd of October, and it's like it's really Venus is dancing with Sun. Somebody's having a baby during this time. That's probably gonna be pretty crazy. If you're having a daughter at this time, oh my God, I feel for you. I feel for you. That's to be crazy. You're gonna have to be beating niggas off. I don't even want to be dealing with it. If she's light skinned too, oh my God, I don't even want to think about that anymore. But a Sun and Venus type aspect really makes that like we're really gonna be really social. We're really gonna be putting a lot of attention on our relationships during this transit, and in Libra, like this is what I mean. Like oh my God, like I was thinking of a baby being born at this time. That's crazy. That's a real powerful energy that's going on. Relationship aspect where relationships or in Venetian's aspects like beauty, aesthetics, all of these things are going to be so forefront in our minds where you can get rocked to sleep. Someone pitches you the best story ever. You know that they told you all the things that you like and shit like that. And you know it's pandering and stuff like that, and you get real hyped. But let's see if there's substance behind it after. You know, you may really get excited about something, thinking something's going to come your way through a relationship that it didn't go much past the conversation stage. But the conversation was nice, you know what I mean? There's a lot of that may be going on, but it's going to be powerful. So this is why extra emphasis on what I mean, like drawing up your own esoteric contracts and the type of relationships you want to have. The Sun is adding that that attention and that ability for action, that vitality for you to really shed light on this aspect and heal. Venus is inverted as fucking modern day society. That the upside down fucking pentagram type shit. That's what they use. The over sexuality, the everything. Everything is Venus, bro. Like for real, for real. The minds weren't tripping. Like, oh, why were they following Venus and shit like that? Because they know niggas. They know niggas. They know that you just want to bust your nut. Or they know shorties that, you know, if you go and show them all of this comfortable stuff, or if you go and give people
Child support.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, oh yeah, shuttle government. Oh, what do I have? What shot do I have to take? Oh, okay, fine. Because you're presenting all of these nice things to me, for sure. But yeah, let's see how this energy is going through all the signs. So through the first house, how do you think this is? Venus in Libra is hitting people who have this going on in the first house.
So you guys gonna experience love, relationship. You guys are gonna experience a lot of love and relationship brought through people and places. Things that to bring harmony to your personality, personal issues, early environment. They're gonna, and this is the area of life where Venus and Libra might be a little bit debilitated in, because you have to bring people to an area of life where it's so seclusive, because the first house is right before the 12th house, and the 12th house is our subconscious, is the dream world, and the first house after that is like very personal, and trying to bring Libra Venus energy balance to it. It could be very hard, but could be very rewarding too, because if you think about the first house deal with the fire element, it's hot and dry, which lead to inflammations and things of that nature, while Libra has Venus energy, and Venus creates harmony, so that could cool down what's happening with your early environment, your personal issues, through what relationships, which might surprise you. It's almost like the nice breeze, aka the nice conversation that you needed.
Absolutely. I can also see it playing out as like a little boost in fashion, probably. You know, this addition to how you style yourself and present yourself, making it look more, you know, more presentable to other people with Venus being in Libra in your first house. So maybe this is a good time for, you know, to get new clothes or to update, you know, how you appear yourself. And this can even create like a foundation for you to create new relationships. You know, you just wearing certain pants, You were just wearing, like crystals or something like that. And now this other person's like, oh shit, I got that same crystal too. That happened when I was da 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 with da da da. And it's like, oh shit, you do da 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 whatever it is, and now you're doing da 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 the next weekend together. You know what I mean? Where and it started out with just how you're presenting yourself. So like with that energy there, yeah, um, it's gonna be really personal with your relationships and how you present yourself into the world. Where that mirror aspect may be really strong with the first house having this Venus and Libra in the first house, where you're really starting to see personally where your relationships are heading, where all of your pleasures are how they shape your personality and how this bleeds into your relationships. But yeah, you can do some real magic if you were to use this aspect properly. So if you want to facilitate certain personal interests, try and utilize your relationships to do that. Try and utilize your assets that you have, your to really accentuate your personality, and trying to find who you are in a harmonious way, so it can blend with other people, focusing on blending your personal aspects with other people, blending your personal assets, the things that you have with other people, not being so stingy with that stuff, and
That makes
individualistic.
it makes sense here.
Sure. And that's the first house. Looking at the second house, how do you think Venus and Libra is going to hit down?
You guys gonna desire to bring love, unification when it comes to how the way you guys relate, when it comes to you guys possession, sense of stability, and self-esteem. You guys want to bring relationship, people, places, and things that could help you guys experience uh, more conversations or ways of relating about these things that you guys need to keep you guys self stable, but you guys need to indulge you guys yourself in more conversation when it comes to these things because it deals with the earth house is fixated. So and this is the Libra deals with the air element. It might give you the right conversations, let people know that you have these resources, so you meet the right people and things of that nature. And Venus is like a benefit planet, but you could lead to overindulgence, especially when you have a lot of resources, and then when you want to indulge in a relationship while Venus at home, man, you could lose a lot of money, and it's also almost like an
Mm-hmm.
in conjunction type of energy. So you may not understand what happened. What's the difference between what is happening, the air element, and like what's happening physically? So you want to be careful what type of relationships are going to be initiated at that time based on love, desires, and indulgences and things of that nature, since that area of life is going to be open for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And all of that would really be representing the values that you're holding on. And it's really going to affect how you feel about yourself, your own self worth, and how you value yourself, and how you feel stable within this reality. There's going to be Venus is really showing you a balance. You trying to balance your relationships with your self aspect. A lot of people with heavy second house or Taurus alignments and stuff like that. Like we talk about Taurus getting the bag, wanting stability and all of that. But not all life situations, happen like that. We're not aware that we're having a Taurus baby, so we're gonna set out. Oh, this nigga needs a stability and stuff. People aren't doing it like that. So a lot of that energy gets inverted in a lot of ways where that you need to be stable and you need to have assets, you need to have value, but maybe you start valuing the wrong things, or you start feeling a lack of things. So with people with those problems and those aspects really, and if you have Venus going through your second house, this is a real time for you to utilize your relationships in a positive way to help build that self worth. That rapport that you have with those relationships can really show you your value. Your friends are probably going to tell you, "Oh, you're talented at this," or you're stable in this. I don't have that. I like how you have this. I don't have that. And you really start to see, oh yeah, I do have this. This is a value. I do value this, and all of that. Your friendships and relationships, and you're just trying to bring out balance in your life, can really show you the real value of your assets and how you can use this to connect with other people. Where you thought that this talent, this value that you had, this thing that you like to consume, or that makes you feel stable. You didn't know that you can create relationships around that, or that other people can relate with that with you. But with this transit, you'll start to come and realize that, and to really use that to have healthier relationships. Yeah, and that's uh the second house. Looking at the third house, how's Venus and Libra hitting them?
So you guys gonna be in the desire, or even indulging the idea of initiating more balance, harmony. When it comes to the area of the third house, which deals with your immediate surroundings, everything that you can see after I am the first house, and then Taurus is I have, and then now the third house is I see, and things of that nature. So the third house deal with your co-workers, deals with your siblings, it deals with early educations, it deals with transportations and government learning and things of that nature. So when Venus being here, Venus is gonna want you or bring the type of energy through people, places, and thing to for you to bring understanding, harmony to your immediate surroundings, because you might get so lost within your immediate surroundings because you don't have a well structured way of going within your like immediate surroundings, aka a routine, a structured way. And if you don't have a good system there, you may not know how to go toward your home life, because your home life build off what you did in your early education. You are
Hmm.
a lot of people develop misunderstanding of their home life based upon the early education they experience and things of that nature. It's mutable air, so like it's very that's that in conjunction between cancer. It's beside cancer too, so like it's very hard to comprehend sometimes until later on. But right now, Venus and Libra there, it's gonna bring a lot of harmony there. A lot of understanding your brothers, sisters, neighbors, co-workers. Make things a little bit structured. Even though Libra's an air sign, it's cardinal. It might move all the scatteredness away to the right way and things of that nature. But you just have to be careful not to indulge in all those thoughts and ideas and things of that nature, because you might get lost easy in it, because it's gonna be within your surroundings.
Hmm. Absolutely. And just like what you're saying with the early education, we don't realize, like, this is why it's important to, like, why you see a lot of young geniuses, and people put their kids on to learn violin at 3 or some shit like that. But you absorb so much, literally, physically, and spiritually. Like, if we're talking about our chakras and our auras, these things aren't fully developed upon incarnation. As you develop as a baby, you're so vulnerable to all of these things. That's why you need to be around your mother all the time, and be around her energy field, so that it can protect you. You don't have a protective layer over all of your chakras until you're about 7. And you can see this through child development, where, and initially, they're right on mommy. Then they're 1 meter away from mommy, and then now they don't give a fuck. By 7, they don't give a fuck about nobody. And then they're on their way. But it's that protective layer that had happened. But in that early education, without that protection, you were absorbing so much. That's why they want your kids so early. That's why they want them right there, so they can have their early education. Because so much mentalities get built up in that early education, with you being a little kid, and all the things that you're exposed to really shape how you form the world. So a lot of that may be exposed. If you realize that there's mindsets that maybe carry on from childhood, that may be holding you back, this is a real opportunity for maybe even starting a relationship that will help you see things in another way. Maybe they went through a similar experience, or they reflect those aspects within you. Maybe it doesn't even have to be like they went through that experience and they solved it and they can tell you how to do it. Maybe they're going through it, the same thing you're going through in real time. And just having that external perspective, if you see, that helps us a lot of time to be like, we be doing flunked out shit, then we see someone else who's flunked out, and they're like, oh yeah, that's how I look. oh, I don't want to do that anymore. So you may really have that potential to really change mindsets through your relationships, through connecting with people in a really physical, sensual way. You can really release these mindsets and bring balance to your surroundings. Really deepening relationships with your siblings, and you know, all the people around you. So now all of these things are moving in a much more harmonious way. Yeah, for sure. And that's the third house. Looking at the fourth house, how do you think this is gonna hit them?
So around the fourth house deals with you guys home, domestic issues, the secrets, privacy, the opposite of your mid-heaven, what people see from you. So right now, you guys gonna might initiate or might desire or indulge in bringing a lot of balance and unification and unity within home, family, domestic issues. But the issues that it's all about the water elements. So it's more about emotional connection, feeling as opposed to uh, thoughts and ideas. And this the idea about the relationship, which what Libras enjoy greatly because it helps them add more to their original idea and things of that nature. So this is gonna present a lot of opportunities to create harmony within the home, but you guys have to learn the difference between true harmony, like conversations, relationship, versus how do we really feel about each other, the true level of comfortability. Like, do we really like each other on an emotional level? Understand the difference between thoughts and ideas, and the needness of relating, obviously Libra, but the needness of understanding, that's home and family. And the level of relating at home and family might be different than relationships with other people.
For sure, compromising with other people is different with compromising with aspects that are at home. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's two completely different playing fields, and that's why you may be having a little bit of a struggle if you have Venus traveling through your fourth house with this aspect, trying to bring balance in that intellectual way, because that's the energy Libra is coming with, where it's going to come with an idea within a conversation. But just ideas and conversation may not change how a person feels, what makes people comfortable, and all of that. Just starting the conversation may not be the impetus to change how things feel, but it really could be a building block for something stronger, or the necessary aspects of you trying to start the conversation, you trying to bring words to things, starts the process of starting to unravel what it really is, and you mixing your energies, and that being tested in the home level, seeing what percentage level that you can take and that you manage, even if it's being taken from you and you're not having much of that comfortable aspect, or you don't feel too good about it. You're going to be aware of what's going on, what's taking 60%, what in your life that's making you uncomfortable, not having a home space, not feeling nurtured in how you feel, and reflect about reality. Now it's the time to really, you can establish new relationships, a new way of looking at relationships, to really start to bring balance into this area. Maybe not even just compromising, but being better at communicating how you feel could be a real better thing. Communicate in your relationships in general, getting to the bottom of what people want, what it really is. There is how you can utilize this Libra and Venus energy to the best in that area, in the fourth house.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the fourth house. Looking at the fifth house, how do you think Venus and Libra is gonna hit them?
So you guys gonna desire the birthing relationship and wanting to relate and create harmony in the area of social life, creativity, children. Like Venus and Libra in the fifth house sounds like you and a partner talk about having a family or children, or like having a conversation about it, or like hearing people talking about it, or people, or you meeting people, places, and things that might help you to relate this form of self-expression, this form of way that you like to entertain yourself to another level. So that may be beneficial for you. But Venus in Libra, man, in the fifth house, you're gonna get indulged in so many wrong relationships. It's gonna lead you in so many situations. You might get entertained in so many ways that leads to nowhere, and then you're gonna regret it because after that, Venus in Libra is going to move to Venus in Scorpio, and then you're gonna have Venus in Scorpio in your sixth house. Venus is debilitated in Scorpio, and then it's debilitated it's worse in the sixth house too, so you're done completely at this point. So be careful with what you're gonna do with Venus and Libra, because it's gonna make you addicted. It's gonna put these conversations in such a beautiful way, and you're gonna be in the it's a fifth house too. You're gonna be might be in the beach somewhere you like to have fun, and you might hear that conversation, see that one shorty, and so on and so forth. And it's gonna be quick, and it's Venus. It's done after that. Venus is Lucifer, and you don't know how Lucifer come, so be careful.
For sure, Lucifer comes in a dress, bro. Lucifer is not gonna come with a pitchfork and horns. He's gonna come a dress. If you a nigga in a hoodie, Jesus piece, the devil's gonna come in a hoodie and a Jesus piece. That's how he's gonna pull up. You know, he's gonna try and be as presentable as possible, for sure. And you're so right. But you can utilize this in a positive way, where knowing that things can really progress like that, how you can really get that addicted sensation and feeling. But you can be addicted to good things. You can even be addicted. I was looking at how, it's funny because it all correlates. Serotonin, 50% of serotonin is produced in your gut. The feel-good hormone is produced in your gut. So when niggas are talking about your solar plexus, the sun ruling happiness and entertainment and all of that stuff, and it's in your gut area, they weren't bullshitting about that shit. But you can literally get addicted to the sun, because the sun helps stimulate the serotonin production, the dopamine and all of that. You get high off of the sun, like legit. Now they feel good. But look at you getting high off of cocaine and addicted to cocaine versus getting high off of the sun. Like these aspects exist, but then this has all of these negative aspects. This maybe it does have a negative aspect to it too, but it's not as severe in detriment. But that's what I'm saying. You can have healthy obsessions, healthy indulgences. So you really want to start that. So you're really gonna be influenced by your relationships and your friends. So create those friendships and relationships and lean more into those ones that help you go and creatively express yourself in the positive way, not those detrimental ways. Go with the friend that's gonna go with you to the open mic, that's gonna go with you, to whatever, so you can go and dance or create something, and they encourage you and they're on board, they're doing it with you. You guys have the rapport, instead of the buddy who's doing the drugs with you or whatever it is that you may be indulging into that's negative, So yeah, that's the fifth house. Looking at the sixth house, how do you think Venus and Libra will hit them?
Man, this time for you guys to bring balance and harmony, and actually maybe even enjoy the process of doing that while you guys working, which is kind of weird because the sixth house deal with work, health, and service. But using Venus in Libra might bring the right people, places, and things that might lead to situation, might make work and situation deal with health and service and things of that nature easier, because you have the right people. You might develop the right relationship with the right personal trainer who might tell you the right program for the right body type. But you might, even on the negative side, indulge in the wrong relationship that might lead you off work, which something you might need to do and things of that nature. So you're gonna need to be careful with that and things of that nature. And Venus does not like to be in the sixth house so much because it's kind of debilitated here, so it's gonna have to work hard. So with Libra here, it's almost like trying to it's almost like, because it's kind of funny trying to bring Libra energy, because everybody sees us at work. Everybody knows at work they have to force a fake smile, and then that's like a Libra energy. But everybody knows that while at work we still have to do that.
Yeah.
So that's the type of energy
Absolutely.
I'm getting of Venus and Libra in the sixth house.
For sure. Maybe even the nigga who's always talking at work. I was always trying to start a conversation and stuff like that. But yeah, for sure. it could so play out in an increase in productivity where you're creating relationships and balances where people are starting to feed better into your daily routines and habits and your work patterns. And with the healthier relationships, you're going to feel better about working, about being of service, about putting your energy and putting out effort into things. But you're so right. Your relationships can also make you worry, and now they're getting in the way of your daily habits and your rituals and making sense out of things. So you really want to monitor your relationships and make sure that your schedule stays intact. And if your relationships are really so entangled, fit them in. Stop being like, oh, I'm gonna have this whole schedule, and then all of these guys start coming in and start shaking everything up. Fit that into your schedule. Start to analyze your relationships, and if you don't want to have that aspect, get that shit up. Let those niggas know that this is not going to be part of my daily routine and patterns. We're not making a habit out of this.
Don't
So
compromise with
you have
Venus and
to
Libra.
absolutely,
It's the sixth
absolutely.
house. It's very serious. This is what they call the house of sickness, injury, because work is very serious, and like you gotta like separate it from certain things to make things easier for you.
Exactly. So this is a real chance for you to make life more efficient through your relationships. Stop
Mm-hmm.
excluding them or thinking that you have to work around them or letting them come in. Organize those aspects too, and you'll find the fruits and benefits of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the sixth house. How do you think Venus and Libra is gonna hit the seventh house?
So Venus is gonna be home here, and Venus is gonna love what it love to do. That is relating, creating harmony, enjoying relationship. It's the time to indulge here, so don't get lost. Find the correct relationship that's gonna help you further yourself. Since you're gonna have Venus and Scorpio in the eighth house, so this way you're gonna be hit by whatever relationship you're gonna indulge in right now, whether that's on the bad side or the negative side, because indulgence energy is not bad. People should indulge in hard work. People should indulge in discipline, so they understand the concept of
Mm-hmm.
indulgence and things of that nature. So right now you might indulge in relationships, and you might figure out how to use it in a good way or a bad way. And having Venus at home, might be a good way kind of to approach it, because you're gonna be presented with all this type of it's gonna be presented in all type of ways for you, and you might even learn of ways of how you could communicate more beautifully, which might make life much more easy and facilitated for you, which I think that's the true power of Libra, putting Venus to words, and that's like you're done after that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like how you mentioned how eventually it's going to go into Scorpio in your eighth house. So you really need to be looking at, if you're really making all these compromisations and you're really making all of these relationships, it really could be stressing. And you're giving 60, you're making all of these bad relationships, overindulging in things, really falling for the fluff, wanting things to be positive, wanting things to be and making all of these decisions with that in mind. Even if you have good intentions, you may not be paying attention to deeper aspects that are playing at that level, that you'll start to see Venus going into Scorpio in the eighth house. All these different types of vulnerabilities start popping up that you didn't even know, that are being facilitated by your relationship aspects. And now you don't. Before you were so Venus and Libra, you were so, oh yeah, let's go and share Venus and Scorpio. Like, don't look at me type
Oh,
aspect.
yeah,
So you
because
don't
then
want
you
it to lead into something like that.
and you have Jupiter in Aries, which would be I think your first house. So like you need to expand
Mm-hmm.
in that area on the self. So when you go to Scorpio, man, if you're so embarrassed, you'll be like, oh, Jupiter in Aries been telling me to do this, and now I'm experiencing this in conjunction, all this type of vulnerabilities, but I should have known that than this opposition because I seen it head on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So this is real opportunity for you to understand the power of relationships, the power that you have at your disposal to create relationships. This is not something that you should be doing recklessly, even though it's a lighthearted aspect, being friendly with other people and joining with other people. But there's power in this. Utilize it as a
Mm,
power. and then you'll start to see the benefits of it, the positive side of it, and you won't be falling victim to it. Recognize the power that relationships really do have, and don't just let it be that lighty floaty type thing. Then when Venus goes to the eighth house, you'll be prepared. You have more emotional security because you understood the depths that you were entering into. Relationships aren't simple; they're not. They're very complex. And you're entering into a lot of energies, just mixing with someone else. You'll get fucking sick. You'll get fucking sick, tired or drained. You just mixing energy with random shit, So you don't want to be doing it like that. Know the power that's in it.
Exactly. Just think about how much energy it takes you to maintain your own body, then you're attempting to relate to another person at the same time. Man, that is hard.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Esoteric handstand.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the seventh house. Looking at the eighth house, how do you think this is gonna Venus and Libra is gonna head down?
So this is time for you guys to bring more love, harmony through relating and opening conversations when it comes to what's happening behind the scene. When it comes to you guys, the eighth house, the what deals with occult, the realm of mysticism, vulnerabilities. The type of it deals with vulnerabilities because it put us in energies that we don't understand till later on. So once we take power and control of that, that's where we gain what emotional control, that depth of Scorpio, that strength and things of that nature. But first we have to like kind of get flunked out in the darkness so we could find our way through it. But like if we never been put there through a vulnerability, certain situations and things of that nature, especially because it deals with the opposition towards the second house. So a lot of us feels that vulnerability with money, stability, and it's beside then the first house too. So it's early environment too, and things of that nature. So you're gonna have to realize that in Venus in Libra, you guys gonna have to open conversations with things you guys keep behind the scene. Which is gonna help you guys to breathe, makes things easier because a lot of people don't understand the depth of the eighth house. Sometimes you might be in your own vulnerabilities, you might even forget to breathe and things of that nature. It might sound weird, which is kind of funny since the eighth house deals with death. So you just imagine you putting yourself in this type of energy, what could happen. So Venus and Leo might bring those right conversations, those right people, which might help you get out of that state of death, out of that darkness, to help you transform. And yeah, basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You may even be the type of person whose relationships really expose your inner vulnerabilities. And maybe with Venus going into the eighth house, maybe you'll want to be social and you'll want to support these relationships and create these relationships, but you'll feel like you can't or that you wouldn't be able to. But you really need to start to, just like what you were saying, starting the conversation about these things, learning how to bring words to these things, including your relationships into this vulnerable aspect of yourself, so that once again they can act as the mirror and you can really start to see what's going on and really move past these things, transform those energies into a positive way. Death isn't scary like that. And maybe this is something that you're going to see. Maybe the end of a relationship or the end of a vulnerability, the end of insecurity, the end of a way of feeling about something. Maybe become not being vulnerable about certain things anymore. It may feel like a mini death, like a certain aspect of you has died away and hasn't went back, but it's been transformed into something else. It's very arrogant to be thinking that you don't really understand life. Like if I were to die right now, this whole body's still gonna be here, but then but I'm gone, right? So who knows what happened? I didn't even really know what I was. I thought I was the body. You know what I mean? So it's like that with multiple things, with all the many versions of death that we go through. You have to understand that it's transformation. Starting the conversation about these vulnerabilities, even though that this is the dark space, is what's going to allow you, once you get comfortable and bring balance to these vulnerabilities, which you can do through your relationships, by communicating things, starting relationships that people can relate with these vulnerabilities. Maybe somebody who's been through the same thing or has the same insecurity, and you relating with them, really shed this light on that area and really help you transform it into something that is more positive. and take advantage of the death aspect that is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the eighth house. Looking at the ninth house, how do you think this transit's gonna hit them?
So you guys are gonna have to basically, you guys gonna indulge and desire relationships that surrounds the ideas of God, religion, spirituality, higher education, what you guys believe in. So you guys relationships is gonna either balance or help you guys to almost like micromanage these belief systems, whether they work for society or not. Since this is why like a Libra sextile Sagittarius, and they kind of they have to
Mm-hmm.
continuously rebalance how broad Sagittarius could be, since a lot of us could get lost with this type of energy down here, and it's the mechanism of harmony. So this is why it's so funny how watching how religion is connected with politics in general. You guys can't separate the two together. It's necessary to speak about religion and politics together, because that's what keep, because air, Libra is cardinal air, so it could keep the Sagittarius fire going, and then Sagittarius fire could give the Libra an imagination or a vision that could way it could manipulate society with, and then Libra could push off the conversation.
Absolutely, and just another point on that, you can see that the places that have more awareness or admit to that connection between the religion and the politics seem to have at least less crime. Maybe other issues may be present, but they don't have people breaking the law like how other people do, or people opposing the way of life and the laws and customs of the land like the way the other side does when they don't acknowledge that connection because it's there. And you start seeing people operating on belief systems thinking that they're logical interpretations, which not necessarily is inherently wrong operating off of belief systems. But if you don't believe that you are operating on a belief system, now you're in la la land, season pass. So you don't want to get lost into that aspect. But with the ninth house, your relationships may really be taking you on a whole bunch of experiences. Me, that's the type of person that have a whole bunch of different experience, maybe travel, a whole different type of things, just because they were friends with the person, just because they knew somebody, just because they were friendly and were able to start a conversation. And this person was like, "Here, you want a ticket to a concert?" It's like, "Oh shit, I talked to this nigga for 5 minutes." Those type of things where you can really learn things. So you want to try and start relationships that'll add to that higher learning aspect, that'll add to that spirituality, you understanding the world in multiple perspectives. Your relationships could really broaden how you see the world. And just because that person went through that experience and you can converse with them and mix and mingle your energy with them, it's kind of like you went through that experience to a degree, or now your perspective of that experience is broadened, and now new avenues of reality are open to you through that relationship. So you should really be seeking relationships to really broaden your awareness and perspectives, and you may already be doing that. So you want to facilitate it in the best way. But just like what you're saying, you can entertain some bullshit, and all your experiences can really lead to you maybe being over moral, giving too big of a head, getting too much into like spirituality. Now you're cutting off all of your other friends because they're not spiritual enough, and all of this different type of aspects. So you don't want to start falling into that energy, um, and start using it in a negative way. Really try and obtain the highest level of knowledge you can from your relationships, and balancing your energy with other people, exchanging energy with other people. Ask
Mm,
people about their experiences. Ask people about where they've been to, their traveling, and the perspectives that they developed from them. You may really get some value. So that's the ninth house. Looking at the 10th house, how do you think this is hitting them?
Venus, so Venus might not gonna like it because the 10 house deal with our business, status, harshness, the area of life we work in, hardly, that makes us very exhausted. So Venus here, Venus in Libra is gonna want to bring in communication, relationship, help you put into words ways that you could increase your status, business, let the world know about what you're doing with your mid-heaven, aka your public life. This is like a Venus in Libra in the 10th. This is a great conversation, bring it to your business if you think about it. But on the negative side, it could bring distractive conversations, since a Libra Capricorn energy could not match with Libra energy to square each other, while Libra might be talking about their relationship, while Capricorn might want to get their bag. So that's where they might not agree and things of that nature. This is why Scorpio vulnerabilities will keep behind the scene, power control issues, and then Sagittarius knowledge and wisdom is like between them and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys gonna have to learn what type of relationships that's correct, and what you guys should indulge in, or what you guys should not indulge in terms of conversation that's gonna help further your reputation or your career. Because it's gonna squares like learning opportunities, but that square is gonna further you in your business status. Like there's nothing better than like a businessman who could like sell his own product, as opposed to like hiring a person who to sell his product. Like that person will go
Absolutely.
further in life, because he'll be able to train people to do the same thing he could do, as opposed to the person who could do it the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you may even really see, just like what you're saying with the reputation, where your relationships are really either taking a dig, but being so intertwined with your reputation and how you are seen in a professional aspect. So if you want to be being taken serious, you really want to be bringing balance to your relationships, or consciously try and balance how your relationships are bleeding into your 10th house aspects, and how you obtain stability and practicality in the world, and not trying to push them to the side, and try and keep them separate, talking about keeping business and personal. If you're starting to see personal bleed into business, without trying to work with things, you can look at it as like a kind of like a maze, or a rerouting in your brain. It's not like a lot of us go into those routing phases and end at a certain point, but we don't realize that we can just make an extra turn, or try and go in a different way, not try and go back the way that we came, but just not stopping there. You can think of another thing, like come up with another solution, or a new way of looking at the situation that makes it a little bit more positive, if you get what I mean. But yeah, and even just talking about it, just like what you're saying with the business person who can be a good market person, also the business person who can manage his employees but can also talk to them. He knows how to bring out people's efficiencies and stuff like that, but he also is vocal and starts the conversation, and maybe develops a rapport, and that also leads to that better understanding of how to incorporate that those personal social aspects into a business aspect. So not running away from that little square that's going on, and how your relationships, maybe they're even creating more responsibilities for you to look at. If they're doing that, start getting into that energy exchange. And if you're going to be accepting some responsibilities from your relationships, make sure it's the right responsibilities, and they're helping building the status that you want to have, and things of that aspect. So that's the 10th house. How do you think people with this transit in their 11th house are going to be hit?
So this is time for you guys to initiate love and harmony through initiating conversations. This is gonna help you guys deal with the area of the 11th house, groups, association. The area of life tend to be so constricted and sometimes stubborn in the way we type of associate with other people. Since some of us, we may not have other like planets there, which would be like awareness there. So like we didn't know how to, we were like associate with one group of people our entire life, and like we would never try to associate with other group of people. We have to expand the parameter of our association. So like Venus in Libra, but it's gonna give you this energy to really want to bring unification through conversation with your associate, and make them like reassociate yourself, and make, because it's kind of funny how Aquarius, they're into association, but they're gonna disassociate from their associate to
Yeah.
associate with another group. So it's like Libra here, it's gonna bring you the almost the opposite, trying to initiate harmony, balance, and this is gonna bring your association more close together, because it's gonna be that it's gonna bring the love Venus aspect to it, as opposed to Uranus Saturn aspect, which gives it that revolutionary, always over the edge type of aspect to it.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you're talking about Aquarius like that, because that's true. Like Aquarius will go to like a rally or a protest, and maybe they'll be talking about it with someone. They're like, "Yeah, I'm pro this, so you pro this." I'll be like, "Yeah, yeah." Maybe the conversation will progress. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm a dad," or "I like peanut butter sandwiches and shit like that." You know, get a little bit more personal, and then the Aquarius is like, "Nigga, I don't give a fuck. Let's go back to the rally. Let's go back to." What is, yeah, I like peanut butter, but I'm not gonna relate with you. I don't give a fuck about any of that. Let's just stick on the social topic, on the thing. You know, if we're talking about, whatever the fuck it is, pro this, pro that, whatever is the social cause. It's the same thing with the humanitarian views, like they're like, I'm happy when I have a bubble bath. Aquarius is like, I don't give a fuck, nigga. What about all of humanity in general? I don't give a fuck about what makes you happy. I want, it's like it's like such a like a collective aspect. So maybe that's what makes them seem so
Oh yeah,
disconnected or
I,
distant.
but this is why a lot of people like to associate Aquarius with like alien energy, because like
Hmm.
aliens like outer space. And when I think about a spaceship, people looking down on humanity. So like that's why I think about like Aquarius, and it's in the way you're talking about it too. Like associate, like are we gonna associate or not? Are we gonna get our shit together as a humanity or not?
Are we gonna be like-minded, or are you gonna just keep on talking about what you want to be talking about, or how you feel? I don't give a fuck about how you feel. What about this uniting aspect? What about this like-minded aspect that we can think about and build? And really understanding that, how your relationships bleed into that, and bringing balance into it. Maybe you can have establishing friendships in this area can really help you further those causes, and maybe you can feel like you're really working towards something or bettering something in the world, or that you're really interconnected by having those healthy relationships. Or your relationships can really take you into making the wrong type of associations, or maybe make you more disconnected because they facilitate this like-mindedness. Maybe you're unwilling to make relationships in different aspect and having a broader social life because of how accelerated this certain aspect of your social life can be.
Considering Ryan, we're speaking about Venus and Libra in the 11th house, that would be interesting seeing the connection between like revolutions and like liberal parties through histories, and like how connected they are, and
Absolutely.
like the type of witchcraft they do through history in terms of like bringing type of different revolutions, groups, and then like initiate them down here below the horizon. So that's off topic, but yeah.
Absolutely, man. For sure. And then it stays a little bit distant too, man. I swear, leave it. All air signs be having that little distant aspect to them, so it's funny. So that's why, well, Libra may be less out of the all of the rest of the ones. Libra may be more because of the Venetian aspect. Yeah, it really does want to connect. Gemini's not trying to connect with you. It's just trying to talk. Aquarius is not trying to connect with you. It's just trying to come up with the most logical situation. Libra is generally trying to connect and really mix energies with each other. So this is the time for you to really accelerate your social circle, and you really use them to bolster your knowledge, to teamwork makes the dream work. Like this is the real time for you to really utilize that with this transit going through your 11th house.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Looking at the 12th house, how do you think this transit will be hitting them?
So right now, you guys are gonna be indulging and desiring relationships or conversation that will help you guys facilitate what's going on with your subconscious mind, what you guys keep not even behind the scenes Scorpio, what you guys are delusional about, don't tell people nobody about your belief systems, the things you guys add mysticisms to, and what you guys escape reality with, drugs, certain delusions, imaginations. Like a lot of people don't realize how Pisces have this power, and even Pisces like everybody, when we come up with that imagination, we could use it to escape reality and act completely delusional. Do you know how many people walk around with many delusion, thinking it's actually factual reality? You would actually don't even believe it, but like 90% of people will walk around with fucking delusion, thinking it's actually a reality. So having Venus right now in Libra, you might want to bring conversation, hear the right words, meet people who can relate to you on a subconscious level, which is gonna be hard because this is Libra energy. This is initiating conversation. What the fuck does initiating a conversation deal with me sitting meditating at the bottom of my own subconscious mind?
Yeah, the
Deal
small
with.
talk. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's almost like I said in conjunction. So, but you might find the relationship that's gonna connect you there. So, but as long as you try your best, and the kind of Venus is exalted there, so you might enjoy attempting to relate people to your subconscious mind, or trying to find people who match that area. If you can understand what I'm trying to say, since Libra have the natural micro way of rebalancing things to fit what it desire.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Switching things around so that it can be balance oriented in a certain way. That's how Libras would justify toxic relationships and stuff like that. Like they would
Mm-hmm.
s- deal with whatever because this area is balanced or this area is balanced and stuff like that. So
That's
that's what
how
the. Mhm.
the facts in like Virgo gets like reorientated, like in Libra reworded, and then nobody knows what happened behind the sea, and then we get to Sagittarius,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
Capricorn is like, what happened?
yeah. Yeah, dead ass, dead ass. Dead ass, for sure. So, man, I see a lot of relationships or people that you have relationships with, your partnerships, and all of these different things, maybe triggering all of these subconscious aspects, or maybe even pulling one over you. Maybe it's crazy. Isn't the 12th house hidden enemies and Libra open enemies? So you may see some open hidden enemies or some hidden enemies may be coming out into the open and they may be your partners, your friends, and all of the aspects that they're coming into it's subtle, and especially with this energy, so you may not want to just go out and get mad, or cut off relationships and stuff like that because they may not be as aware or conscious of it. But you do want to bring balance into this area, starting to notice those subtle aspects that are driving your relationships, that is making it hard for you to exchange emotional energy with people because there may be a whole bunch of subconscious influences that are doing these things. And don't forget about the open and enemies or the hidden enemies that may be starting to be exposing, that you having this relationship is causing all of these subconscious issues or frustrations that you haven't been noticing, but now you're starting to notice them, and especially through that exchange of energy. So you're going to be exchanging energy, trying to compromise, and some subtle shade gets thrown, or some all of this subtleness comes on, or something doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? You'll feel like the tingle in your skin type deal. Really trust that because something's going on the behind the scenes with this energy exchange, and you really want to be fostering the best relationship aspects with Venus and Libra in your 12th house. You want to orient your relationships to help clean your subconscious, heal those aspects, starting to talk about the more subtle things like what you're saying, talk about the relationship with about meditation, and create the relationships around those the healthier aspects, to sitting down and understanding and dreaming, which will really help you get through this transit and
Mm-hmm.
organize. And maybe you'll get some dreams about your friends and your relationships that you're in and stuff like that. And it'll start popping up in your dreams. Really decode that and what your soul, your spirit is trying to tell you about that dynamic, the archetypes that are at play in those relationships.
Venus and Libra in the 12th house might lead you to indulge in certain relationship that might scar you subconsciously to the point that might bleed to your first house. Yeah, and then it's gonna affect your
Hmm.
personality. And then you don't want that to happen.
And how you
Be
look
careful.
physically, you know.
Do like people do not know how their mind affect them, how affect their physical, how their physical body. The people think, the way people think, feel, you can see it in their face. Like if someone think like a pig and act like a pig, he looks like a pig, literally.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
This
That's
is why you be. This is why you be sensing all type of things about people, like try to keep it distant, all type of things.
exactly. We're the reptilian shapeshifters, you know, but just on the higher octave, you know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
like where you're having those reptilian aspect, the water snake type shit Dolo be talking about, but that's facts. And with the reptilian brain aspects that we have and all of that. But on the esoteric level, we are shapeshifting. Like on that pig level, like you literally look and have the energetic signature of a pig, with those aspects, and then it trickles down into the physical reality. But it happened in the subconscious, subtler energy first in the collective field. So just like what you're saying, if those things really fester and those relationships keep on persisting to be doing those subtle influences, it's going to bleed into your first house. And you're going to start to look like these subconscious aspects that you have left unchecked. You're going to start looking like the negative aspects, the worst aspects of your relationships.
So definitely be careful. Like in the Bible, it say Lucifer owns the air realm, thoughts, ideas, ways of communicating. And like when you see how reality plays out and how like air signs, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, somehow they play some the most Luciferian energy to other people because the way they manipulate communication, words, and like the air element deal with creating time. Just think about how you and someone could have such a good conversation that speeds up time, and
Yeah,
how you could not have a conversation that slows up time. So like that concept itself could make you learn how, especially that in Venus and Libra, you might learn how to see the devil within relationships,
absolutely.
which someone like may not understand. But like the indulgent aspect is gonna lead to Saturn aspect, the discipline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure. For sure. And yeah, that's Venus and Libra through all 12 houses. If you like the video, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate your support. Follow us on Instagram, TrueSpace underscore. Check out our website, truespace.biz. And it's been yeah, a good time. Have a safe transit, y'all.
Take care, guys.
Peace out.